Hey everyone, this is Dan with the Designer Show from Chief Experts Academy. I'm on the call today with Spencer Powell. Spencer, thanks for being here today.
Hey, glad to be here.
Great to have you here. So we're going to get started in just a little bit with your topic, which is an awesome topic. I love doing website marketing and things like that, and that's what you do. So we'll get that covered here. And you've got some really great things that you're going to talk about, but getting started here, I just want to do a quick little intro to Chief Experts Academy and what we're all about. And again, thanks for joining us on the show, and we'll bring you lots of good information. So let me just share my screen here for 1 second, and I just want to make you aware of the things that we've got going on over at Chief Academy. Right now, I had just started a series of courses for Chief Architect, and some of them are complete already, and they are available for instant access. So if you head over to the Chief and you go to the store, for example, you can see what courses we have. So I've got these first two called Structures. We're all about Chief Architect's 2D CAD and 3D CAD, how to do the drawing, and then how to, well, the first one, Types and Terms, is for people that aren't real familiar with construction. So check that out if you're looking to learn a little bit more about how buildings are put together, the types of floors and walls and roof systems that go into different projects. We just kind of covered that. And we got our Structures CAD, which is all about Chief's 2D CAD for creating details and for creating the 3D structures in your plan. Love this class. I'm having a ball with this because I get to show a lot of things that I just don't have time to show in a lot of my other classes. So it's pretty cool how that works. And you can save some money when you buy both of those together. I've also done the Creating a Plan in Chief, which is available on demand. So that's all done. So it's a 4-session course that really gets you into the program. Plus it gets you the templates for Chief Architect. And then again, Mastering Chief Architect's coming up. I mean, if you're watching this later after this is over, it will be available on demand as recorded videos. So you'll be able to come and get that. But it's going to be 15 sessions once a week and for 15 weeks. And we're going to dig deep into the program and cover a lot of areas we don't get to cover otherwise. And the other thing I offer is the templates. The templates come with some of the classes, and you can get a good discount on all 4 classes. So there you go. So check out our store at Chief Experts Academy. And again, thanks for being here. All right, let's get back to the show here. And Spencer, again, thanks for being here. It's really cool to have you on our show. John's not going to be joining us today. He had some family things going on, so he's going to take a little break. And so it's just you and me, man. And
I'm excited.
Yeah, Spencer's in a group that I'm part of. We have a little mastermind that we've been together for quite a while now, and so we've all become really good friends. And Spencer, I love what you do with your company, and I watched you grow, and you wrote a book, and you've got all these cool things going on, and so you focus on helping contractors market their business. So it's just like, and that's what the topic is today. And you've got we've got some good bullet points that we're going to cover. So Spencer, let me start with a simple little question that I ask everybody. What's your favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby? I would say doubles volleyball. So beach volleyball, grass volleyball. Out here in Colorado, we play more in the grass just because there's not a lot of beaches out here. But they do tournaments in all the mountain towns. So Breckenridge, Steamboat, Vail. My wife and I are doubles partners, and then I have a men's partner. And man, if I can do that all summer long, I love it.
That's amazing. That's really cool. That sounds like fun. And you just had a new baby?
We did, yeah. So we have 2 little boys now. One just turned 2, and the other one's a little over 4 months.
Oh, man.
Hands full.
That is so cool. Yeah, you mentioned that you took paternity leave to be with your family, and that's absolutely amazing. So well done.
Yeah, it was a blast.
And like you mentioned earlier when we were talking, and you've heard it from a lot of the members in our group, value the time that you have with your little ones because they grow up really fast. So I have 4 kids. My youngest is now 23. So they grow up fast.
Everyone says it happens in a blink, and in the moment it just feels like chaos. But I'm doing my best to make sure I spend the time now.
Yeah, cool. All right, so let's just take a little peek here at the screen. Oops, I just removed it. Add to stream, and let's go over to what we had here. Actually, let's go to the Designer Show, where we have your advertisement. So tell us a little bit about what you want to talk about today, Spencer.
Yeah, I feel like this whole concept of the way people shop and buy is really interesting, because if you kind of rewind, a decade or more, really, and you think about just how you'd make a purchase for anything, typically you'd see something like a TV ad, or you'd be driving around, you'd hear something on the radio, and you go, "Oh yeah, I need to, I do need to look at, a new car, or I do need a new TV. I should go down to Best Buy or whatever it is." And then you go in and you talk to a salesperson. And that was really like, it was kind of this big advertising, branding, and then you go right into a sales conversation. And with the internet and the amount of content that's being produced, like that just rattled that whole process, And so now you can do all of your research online, and you don't really have to talk to a salesperson until kind of the last step, And so that's really what we started to see about 10 years ago when we started doing all this is, gosh, people are going online, even for things like design and remodeling and, home improvement type stuff. They want to, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think a lot of people kind of had their mind, they probably have their mind made up about who they're going to work with before they even call them in many cases, because of all the research they can do online and talking to their friends, and you're looking at referrals online, the testimonials, and it's just like, yeah. So I think, what you're saying is it's amazing with how that works. And so you mentioned that how education marketing is different for your business. So, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I guess let's kind of use an example, because I don't know, for me, it's always a little more tangible. If we think about, I would like to compare it to buying something in the old way, so you'd see an ad, you'd hear something on the radio, and you go in and you talk to the salesperson. Say you're buying a TV, and then so you go into the Best Buy, you talk to the person, and they would have all the cards, right? They have all the information, so they'd be like, "Here's the models, here's the pricing, here's the specs." And then they would try to close you on the spot. And
right.
And today, obviously, you can go to Amazon, anywhere. You can look up all that information yourself, and you can even make the purchase. Yeah. Now, in our industry, it's different, right? So somebody's not going to go on and click and buy a design or a $100,000 kitchen design plus remodel project online. But kind of what you were talking about earlier, they can look at reviews, they can research your company, they can compare you to the competition, they can uncover all this information, and then they kind of have a good idea of who they want to go with. Maybe they've narrowed it down to 1, 2, 3 companies. But transitioning into kind of how education marketing can influence that, I mean, if you do a good job on your website of documenting your process, explaining how it works, putting out video content so people can see you and connect with you before you know them. Then they know you, and now all of a sudden you can actually put yourself in a spot where they're thinking, "Hey, I'm comfortable with this company. I'm comfortable with their people. I feel like I've met them and I feel like I know them because I've seen them, even though I've just been sitting in bed on my iPad." So yeah, enter the sales process, like you're a few steps ahead of anybody else that they're talking to.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get back to this page here. Where'd it go? Here it is. No, that's not it either. I lost my page. Hang on. I got to click on the right link. And I want to ask you about this because on the page where people might be watching the video, and if you're watching this after the show, if you're here after this, we'll make sure these links are with the video that you're going to be watching of this. But you had mentioned in a little bit of your bio that you started doing this for your family's business. Did you kind of get into it with that idea of educational marketing back then, and what is it, and why, how did you do it, or how did you grow into that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in a way I stumbled into it. I was starting to dig into social media and how that was being used for business, and this was right around like 2009, 2010, when Facebook business pages were like the hot news social media thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started reading about, blogging and content marketing and how that was helping actually pull more people to the website. And so as I started to do that, I'm going, okay, well, what are prospects looking for if they want to remodel a kitchen or do some, design work and, whatever it is, and they have all these questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, well, why don't we just start answering all these questions? And then as you start doing that via blog posts or pages on your website or video content, then all of a sudden people type something into Google, they start finding your website. And then you start to realize, gosh, by educating, that actually is allowing me to pull them in. But then once they get there and they're reading it, they're learning, and then now you're seen as a trusted expert and advisor. And so that was really how it kind of evolved. It was like, okay, I think these things will work. Let's try them. And then it started to work. Okay, now let's really blow this up and try to, like, how much education can we do? Is can you give too much away? And you start just going down that rabbit hole. But
That's cool. So you kind of it just seemed like a good idea to help inform the client, the potential clients right away on your website, your marketing and social, and you kind of grew into it from there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, it's like a lot of things, you get going down that path and you test and you measure, and then it starts working.
Cool. Yeah. So what are some good examples of educational marketing? You mentioned something, do a story about a kitchen design or something, kitchen remodel. What other kinds of things do you work with on your clients to get as far as educational marketing goes?
Yeah, I mean, if you can do video, I love that, because I think you can educate through that medium. But blogging is a big piece of that, and I guess we'll talk about an example. Price is actually one thing that I love when people are willing to talk about pricing.
Okay.
So let's walk through that. Let's say you're going to write a blog post on, what does it cost to design a kitchen, a brand new kitchen. And you would detail out that post, and you'd say, well, it's going to be between X and Y dollars, so, give a range and explain why it might be on the low end of that range. Well, it depends on the square footage. It depends on the finishes. It depends on, all these different factors. Here's why you might be on the high end. And I think in this industry, we're a little bit afraid to talk about things like price, because we think, oh, it's going to scare people away, or they'll get the wrong impression, or whatever it is. But the funny thing is, if you talk about it, you actually start pulling more people in, because that's what they're typing into Google. And so they're going to find it somewhere. I'd rather have them find it from you on your website and get true information than the HGTV kind of fake information that just isn't reality. And then now, let's say you gave them a range of 20 to 40,000 or something like that, or 20 to 60. If they had $5,000 in mind, hopefully they don't reach out to you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, yeah.
And that does still happen, doesn't it?
It does. It's tough to avoid that, but at least you can do your best to qualify them out.
Yeah. Michael asks, does this work for house designers, home designers, and remodeling designers? That's what I do. And this is all about the designer show. So does this work? And we talked about that too. Can this work for designers? What's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would just say, here's where to start. Maybe is think about your ideal clientele, and then think about the last several sales conversations you've had. My guess is you've probably had a lot of questions. People ask questions, you answer them. Those are great questions to turn into content on your site, whether it's a blog, a video, a podcast, whatever, a live stream like this, and if you tackle that question, now you actually have an opportunity to pull in all the other people that aren't in the sales process that probably have the same question in their head, and they're just going to Google. And so I think that's the easiest and best way to start, is take real data, real questions that you get in the sales process, turn that into content, and start attracting people that you're not reaching.
Yeah, I mean, that's, in my world, in the chief architect world, there's a lot of forums out there, groups out there, and it's all about people asking questions and people helping answer them. And for everybody that's doing it, it's fun to give back and do that. But for a lot of people too, it's also a good form of marketing. So it does work. Of course, unless you're comparing against HGTVD, which makes everything seem like $1,000, and it'll be done in less than a week.
Oh yeah.
So,
it's cheap, it's fast, it's great.
Yeah. And Mike says 100% honesty always works. And I agree with that too. So just tell it like it is, man. This ain't going to cost $5,000. It's going to cost more than that. So,
and it's a good thing to get rid of those people that want it for $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Those aren't going to be good clients,
Yeah. Mike says you'll never lose money on a job you don't take. I like that, Mike. That's a really good one. I've had a few of those that I should have not taken over my career.
And each time they come up, you think, "Oh, I shouldn't do this," but then
you have that gut feeling. I kind of need the work. I'm going to take the job, and then you take it, and then you get busy with other good jobs, and now you got to deal with that job. It's like Mary says clients appreciate openness and honesty. Absolutely, Mary. Yeah.
And I think to what Mary just said too, one of the big things in marketing and sales, especially in this industry where you've got a considered buying process, which means they got to do a lot of research and it's a bigger decision. Content can build trust, and it can do a lot of that heavy lifting before they even have that first call with you. And so an example of that, we do this stuff for ourselves and create a lot of content. And I've gotten on some initial sales calls, first meeting, and somebody says, "I've been following you for 2 years." And they've been, watching videos, reading my stuff, all this. Like, how well do you think that call goes versus somebody that just found out about me, and it's a conversation. Like, they're warm, they're excited to be talking to me, they're familiar with me, they've seen me already, they're comfortable. So I think, back to what Mary chimed in with, that trust and honesty through content can really elevate your sales process too.
Yeah, and back in the day when I was contracting, I did have that happen, and it still happens today when I do things. But I remember one client that pulled out this, back when we were contracting, we did newsletters that were educational, we did postcards that were educational, we always tried to share, like you were saying, we tried to answer questions. And this client called me back when I had been working in my own business. And I think it was about 5 or 6 years into my business, she pulls out this postcard and it's like, I don't really remember that. And she said, "Yeah, I got this about 4 years ago in the mail, and I just held on to it because I really liked it. Now I knew I was going to call you." And it's like, bam.
I like that.
Yeah, so that was cool. Back in the good old days.
Well, and for that, I actually like to talk about the example. Like, this stuff isn't new. It's just the mediums have changed. John Deere is one of the first to do content marketing. They had a magazine they started, I think it was 1909. It's called The Furrow, I believe. And it basically educated farmers on farming best practices.
Okay.
They put in like, "Hey, if you need this equipment or this," like there were little advertisements, but they'd send out a little magazine once a month or once a quarter. It was a free subscription magazine, and it was all education based. But of course, it was baked in with, "Hey, we can help you achieve these better things through our, actual like equipment and products." So, this style of marketing is not new, but all the mediums and how we get the information out there have definitely changed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good point. Yeah. The world is moving so fast these days, and there's so much information out there. How do you rise to the top? And how do you stay there? And so educational. I know contractors that do. They're doing webinars now where they're talking to they'll have topics like how do you hire a contractor? How do you do a kitchen remodel? How do you do a bath remodel? And they'll talk about the process that they go through in doing those kinds of projects, because the clients don't know. It's not what they do. It's what we do. So those are good ways to do it. But again, how do you get people into those sessions that you're doing? How do you get the word out in front of people? That makes it that's a different challenge all in itself. It's one thing to do the educational stuff, but it's a challenge to get people there. It's just like we're doing right now. My goal is to get people in there to watch these shows This is educational marketing that I'm doing in my business. I do a lot of this stuff. I do webinars for free. I do all sorts of things for free to educate my client base. And, then they get to know me, get to trust me. They know that I'm going to take good care of them. And it works. It's worked for me for a long time. So, but let's talk about what is top of funnel conversion and why is it one of the most significant opportunities you have? So first of all, what the heck is top of funnel?
Yeah, top of funnel, and in marketing speak, we call it tofu.
Okay.
Top of funnel. But if you think about, so let's think about your website, and then we'll take a prospect. So somebody that wants to do a project, they want a new design, they want to redo their kitchen or something. They've got questions, and they're browsing around. They want to look at your portfolio. They want to basically explore. So when they hit your website, we can basically put that person in one of two buckets. So bucket one is the one we're all familiar with. It's bottom of the funnel. That means somebody's actually ready to enter the sales process. So they've done their research, they've thought about this project, and now they actually want to move forward. So they're reaching out to companies and booking that meeting. So we call that bottom of the funnel. Top of the funnel is actually where most people are. It's there's some stats out there that say at any given time, about 3% of your market in any industry are active buyers. Everyone else is a passive buyer, meaning they're like doing their research and they're going to make a decision, but not today or not this week, sometime in the future. So if somebody hits your website today, but they're not really ready until 3 months down the road, 6 months or 9 months down the road, we need a way to capture them before they leave. Because if they come, they see your portfolio, they browse around, they're like, I'm not ready to talk to anyone, then they just leave because they're just doing this research. And then opportunity missed. So when we talk top of funnel, we're talking about things like a home design guide, or and it could be a guide on the process of how it works, or the timeline, or what to expect. But typically it's a PDF download. Somebody's going to fill out their name and their email to get access to that. And now you've captured this person as a raw lead. Hey, they're probably not really ready today. Maybe they are, but probably not. And so now I'm going to start to build a relationship with them over time. And you can do that through email marketing and a number of different things. But that's the core concept of top of the funnel lead conversion, is how do I capture names and emails of people on my site that aren't ready for a sales conversation today?
Yeah. So that's you're kind of referring to the where you might have a form you fill out on the website, and that gets people. You're giving you basically. I do it on my site, and I know you have it on your site. In fact, you have a pop-up, I think, on your site.
Yeah, we have all kinds of stuff.
and I already filled it out and got your free handout. Yeah, that was yours, and that was Brian's too. And so what you're doing is you're offering somebody something in exchange for their email, and
exactly.
It's really you're going to give them something good and educational that they can use in exchange for the email. Client's kind of raising their hand. Yep, that's something I'm interested in. I would like to learn more. And so if you can help them out with any information, that's a good thing.
Yeah, we call it premium content. You got kind of your free content that's accessible everywhere, and then premium is, okay, you got to trade some information, right? I've got something you want, you have, name and email that I want.
Yeah. So we have a few comments. Clients love expert information, such as colors, fixtures, materials, etc. Absolutely. So if you get someone in the right space, the right mindset, they're looking for that kind of information, and they get your stuff, it's like, yeah, hey, I'm interested. Mary says, what are the most effective platforms for this type of marketing?
Yeah, Mary, good question. In the marketing software space, there's over 5,000 different, types of marketing software. So there's a lot to weed through. But I'll just start with what we use, and then I'll generally talk about what I would look for in the type of software. So we use HubSpot, and the reason we do is it integrates about 19 different marketing tools that you might need. So you can manage your whole website on there. You can build these conversion pages where you're asking for the name and the email You can add calls to action. Maybe this is a good time. I'll just share my screen real quick.
Sure.
Hold on.
Yeah, HubSpot. I'm aware of HubSpot. I don't use it. It's a lot more than I need for what I do. I use a program called Kajabi where that's my whole website, my marketing, everything, and it works well for me. So
yeah, and this one. So here would be an example of a few different tools that you'd want in some marketing software. So this is a kitchen remodeling page. And so you'll see a few different things as we scroll down. One, you're seeing a lot of information, content, pictures, links, and then you'll see that pop-up example of, hey, here's a cost to remodel in Atlanta, and somebody can click this little form and then download it. So that would be a pop-up example. Down at the bottom, we use a more formalized conversion process we call this a call to action. So you can design these or rather you can upload these into HubSpot after they've been designed, and then you can track them. So you can actually see like how many people have been to this page versus how many people click on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we take them over to a landing page. And so you can build these within HubSpot as well. And so when I'm looking for a platform, back to the question, I want something that has a bunch of these different tools and they're all tied together. So the advantage of this is somebody hits the website, they view 5 or 10 pages, then they fill out this form. Now I can track them inside of HubSpot. I can see all the pages that they view on my website. If they leave and come back, I can see that. If I send them an email out of the same tool, I can see if they open and click it. So you start to build this timeline of research on the lead or the prospect. And you can see, and over time you start to see, gosh, this person's been to my site 6 times over the last 9 months. They've opened 4 or 5 of my emails, and then they finally booked a meeting, to talk about a project. And so that's how I guess I would answer that question: is look for a tool set that is comprehensive and kind of includes a lot of these different pieces.
There's a lot of tools out there now that will do a lot of things. So, and I know HubSpot's one of the premier tools for doing the type of things that you do in your business. And for the right person, it's really a great product. And HubSpot has they have some really good free apps that I could, CRM Manager and a few other things like that people can check out.
They've done a good job of pushing to free, and then they've got a starter program that's like $50 where you can do email and those landing pages. And,
okay.
And you just plug it into your existing site, and then if you want to upgrade, you can scale up significantly, but you don't need to.
Right? Yeah, everybody's got different needs, and and I always. When it comes to marketing these kinds of things, and I know everybody's busy, they're scrambling, they're wearing 10 hats, 20 hats in their business, and who's got time to do all of this stuff? And the number one thing I think, if what would be the number one thing that you think people should be doing in their business right now when it comes to this kind of thing?
Yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head. There's so many pieces. It's tough to pick one. I guess what I would say is when I look at the data across all of our clients, we have clients all over the country, we can break down the lead and customer source by channel. So you look at things like social media, Google organic search, paid search, referral traffic, meaning like traffic from other sites like maybe House or Home Advisor, or you're listed on a partner page or something like that. The number one lead converting source and then the best source for customers is organic search. So if I had to pick one activity, I would say a regular blogging and content strategy, like written content, where you're targeting keywords and topics and you're trying to rank in Google. And so when people type in a search and they find you, usually that's a pretty relevant lead and prospect because found what they were looking for. And Google's gotten pretty good at matching what people are looking for. So if I had to pick one, that's probably where I'd
Okay. So start posting on your website some blog articles or just anything that, mentions what you do, good stories, good help information, good educational information. And of course, with all of those, you're going to use keywords like, kitchen remodeling in your city name.
Exactly.
because Google
want to localize it.
Yeah, because when you think about how a search engine like Google thinks, or what their algorithm, what they're looking for keywords like that, and they know where you're located, they know what kind of business you have, they know where your clients come from, so they're always learning about everybody's business and what's happening. It's can't even imagine what they know everything. So
yeah, I'm convinced they already have all the information.
Yeah, they know everything about us. Things we probably don't even know about ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's all true. So just get out there, and even if what do you think about just posting on Facebook or any of that kind of stuff? YouTube videos, those kinds of things. How do you feel about those?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up social media because it seems to be the hot item, right? Everyone's interested in social and they want to get more followers, and it's always the thing that's mentioned at conferences, or you attend some training and people say you got to have a good social media presence.
Yeah,
I agree with that. If you're looking at it from a lead generation standpoint, what I've seen, and again, this is our experience looking at data across this industry, is if you're not going to go all in on social media, and I mean like posting daily, doing video content, doing pictures, like engaging with people, commenting on other profiles, following people, doing the whole game, like if you're not going to do all of that, then I feel like you're kind of in the brand awareness and verifying that I'm a real legit company category. So normally people are going to find you on Google or some other platform or way. They'll go check you out on social media. If you're actually wanting to generate leads from social media, more than likely, like you're going to have to really invest in those channels. So I always say, if you're not in that bucket, do enough to be active, be present, show that you're a real business, maybe show the human side of your business. So when people are doing their research, they can learn those things and they can connect with you. So it might be taking a lead and building trust and helping them into the sales process, but it's not necessarily going to be the thing that like, oh, they just stumbled across you on social.
Right. Well, I know thinking about how people look for things, if you put yourself in your client's shoes, okay, you got, someone living down the street that's thinking about doing a kitchen remodel. So they might need a design. They might need a whole the contractor to do the whole job. They're going to need both. So, designers they're not quite as local as contractors. Designers can kind of go anywhere. I work with clients all over the world. Mm-hmm. But contractors, it's a local thing. So where the hell was I going with this? So when we talk about local marketing and mentioning, think about where those local people are hanging out. Are they in some local groups on Facebook? Are they on Nextdoor, the app? My wife's always on the Nextdoor app, and people a lot of times will ask questions about contractors and design, things like that for their house. I would think that would be a really good one to just be part of and pay attention to, not hardcore marketing, but just answering questions. Hey, how do you fix the toilet?
Be a part of the community, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So just like, people want to buy from their friends. So become friendly with all these people. And that's a good one that and Mike brings up. Being helpful is like a smile. The more you give, quite often, the more of the same comes back. So that's cool too. And then it's a fine line. Word of mouth is more than I need, but I offer a specific service. I don't want too many random people contacting me. Builders, yes. Homeowners, no, it depends. So that's part of your message then, right? Mm-hmm. Who do you want to contact you? So let's talk about that little, the misconception of your website. So, part of what we were going to talk about was, that was one of our topics. So what do you mean by that? The misconception of website design and redesign?
Yeah. So I love this topic because I think there's an important lesson in here, which is you have a website and then every so often you feel this urge to redesign it, or maybe you're pitched by a company, an agency or somebody that says, gosh, you really need to redesign your website.
We'll get you on page 1 of Google.
Yeah, we'll get you on page 1 or whatever it is. You
Yeah.
know, all these issues, and what I always like to point out is, let's say you decide to do that. So you've got your current site A, and you're like, we need a better site. We're going to redesign it. So typically you're going to spend months and months doing that, and probably thousands and maybe even into the tens of thousands, depending on the scale of the site and how advanced it is. And now you launch the new site. That does nothing for its performance in terms of getting more traffic or getting, more leads. Yes, you can improve the lead conversion through the new design, but let's say you're getting 500 visitors a month to your site. When you launch that new site, it just looks different now, right? It probably looks better. Maybe it's easier to navigate. The photos are better. Maybe you've updated some things. The same number of people are visiting it. And so I like to talk about the difference between design and performance. So performance of a website is, how many leads does it generate? How much traffic is coming in? Is it producing customers and actual sales, actual revenue for your business? Design is just the way it looks and feels, like the brand. Do people have a good experience there? Can they find what they're looking for? And so I think the biggest misconception is, if I redesign my website, boom, it's going to be better all of a sudden. And it might look better, but it doesn't mean it's actually going to do better, if that makes sense.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's the old garbage in, garbage out thing. You might have pretty pictures, but what's on the back end of that? So Jim was asking, is there a tutorial or video that helps with creating blogs? Some of us hold off because we don't think we write very well. What's your comment on that one?
Yeah, for sure. Sure, you could Google, how to write a blog and stuff like that. We have an academy where we have some templates and topics. Actually, I think we've got a free link, so maybe, Dan, after the show, I can send you. We've got a list on our blog of 257 blog topics to pull. And that'll help with some inspiration. We pulled it from like our top posts and things that have worked well over the years. If you don't feel like you're a good writer, I think you have a variety of options. One is you could just hire somebody to write for you. And that could be an agency like us, or it could be a freelancer. You could just find somebody that writes, and you can find them locally, or it could be on Upwork. There's plenty of sites to find writers.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like to do or recommend in that situation is, hit record on your phone, and just hit the voice memo notes, and then send that to the writer. And then now you've got your tone, your knowledge, your expertise coming through on that topic. But then somebody else can do the writing, the editing, get the grammar.
Yeah, good point.
And you can do that. I mean, as you're driving in between, things, you can just hit the voice memo and say, hey, this is for the blog on, 3 design trends we're seeing in 2021. And then you can talk about those trends. And basically the whole goal is take your knowledge, get it out of your head, and get it into a blog post. And so if writing isn't your strong suit, then do that. Or maybe you do a vlog, you do a video blog, or maybe you do a podcast, and then you can always transcribe it to get the written stuff for Google. So hopefully that gives you a few different options to get that done.
Yeah. One of the things that I've always liked to write, but I've always felt very uncomfortable with my writing because I didn't pay very good attention in high school. Nouns and verbs and all that stuff, I don't know that well. So I use a program called Grammarly. Mm-hmm. When I write, I do it in that program, or I'll type it out on a text and then I'll copy it into Grammarly. It's just an amazing program. It straightens out my words. It finds my arrows. The arrows does the punctuation correct. It just gets, I look at what I'm writing and it says this sentence doesn't make, excuse me. It'll say like, this sentence doesn't make much sense. So I'll focus on that sentence and I'll go, oh yeah, if I put this here and there. So it takes a little longer, but man, when I'm done, I feel really good about what I've just written. And so there's a little tip for you, Grammarly. And I use it for everything. I mean, I have the app on my computer, so when I'm writing emails, Grammarly's correcting things. So anyway, that's just something that I do. And
great tool.
Yeah. So let's, we talked a little bit about social media a bit ago, and the other topic you had mentioned here was, what's the power of social media, but also where it lacks. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a little bit kind of where we're heading earlier. Like the power of social media is that you can literally reach anybody from your phone. So that's pretty incredible to think about that. Where it lacks is maybe that one, it's hyper competitive, it's super noisy, so it can be challenging to stand out. But I think social media also struggles in a local setting and local environment. You suggested a couple of good things like Nextdoor or join some local Facebook communities and groups. Like you can find those places within social.
Yeah.
But generally, like if you're just thinking about your Instagram page and you're posting, you're basically limited to hashtags and tagging your location to hopefully, maybe get found in the Explore page or something like that. But it's not that great for really ramping up discoverability within a local area. So I think that's one area that it lacks. And just your ability to target followers organically is tough. You can use some paid channels, and get targeted on kind of demographics and things, but that kind of goes into the ads world. And so I think that's where it lacks, and I think it has a lot of buzz. So people are drawn to it thinking it's, oh, this is the silver bullet, this is the magical thing I need, like social media is going to grow my business. When, like I said earlier, when I look at the data, it's Google organic search is what produces lead flow and customers. And social is kind of this brand builder, trust builder. People go there to verify, with the caveat of if you're going to really spend a ton of time on social, it can be amazing, but you've really got to make the commitment to invest in it, be there daily, active, probably at least an hour or two a day to really see that like become the lead generator that you want it to be.
That's a heavy investment.
It's super heavy, and not everyone's going to do that or wants to do that, which is why I recommend like use it as best you can, but if you're not going to take it to that level, focus on the other areas that are, maybe going to generate the leads for you.
So I would add before I ask you what's your number one thing you think people should do, and I'm going to add to that. And I think the number one thing you should be doing is collecting your clients' emails. All right, and their addresses, because that now you can do physical mailing too. But get their emails. It is the most effective and least expensive form of marketing out there. So, what do you say on that? I mean, again, the lead capture forms, all of that.
Totally agree. Yeah, I mean, it's a giant opportunity, and especially the people that aren't active buyers, right? Because it's easy if somebody fills out your contact form, you have a sales conversation. Those people kind of, I put them in your sales process, right? You should be following up with them. You have all their information, but how do you capture those people that maybe aren't to that stage yet, and they're kind of swirling around in this marketing and research bucket?
Yeah.
To your point, like it's cheap, it's effective, direct communication via email. It's still one of the best channels, and so you can do to build that list as
you. I mean, if your only strategy is to collect your clients' emails, even your past clients, call them up and get their email, or because if you don't have their email, you can't email them to get their email. So, or have a form, that they can fill out and get them on an email list in any program that can send emails, and do a regular monthly or even quarterly email to that list of past clients and talk about some projects that you've done or some new trends and just topics that you would find that would be interesting to the clients. So that's something that I've done effectively. I've gotten away from my educational, I even do educational emails. So when you said this educational marketing thing, I got that because it's been a while since I've done this, because my emails now are mostly about the show and about my classes I'm doing. But quite often when I would do my emails, I would do an email about a function in chief architect. So my goal with my emails was to always give you a piece of information that you may not know. And then, so it gets people open. Oh, what's Dan telling me today? And then also say, oh, by the way, I have this class coming up. I got this free webinar, just something else that, I'm doing a call to action on something. And
I love that. Yeah. It's kind of the concept. If anyone listening follows Gary Vaynerchuk, he's got a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And the jabs are the gives, right? Here's this
Yeah.
thing you might not have known. I'm putting it in my email. Hey, here's this blog. Here's this video. Here's this. Oh, hey, and by the way, if you actually want to do this project, like book a meeting and let's talk, And so if you're giving more than you're asking, you're training people to stay on your list and stay engaged because they always get value. If you're always asking, people get tired of that.
Yeah, I do need to get back into that kind of marketing.
But when you promote your show, I would say that's more of a give than an ask because this is education based. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, so I have it set up so where people can go to my site and RSVP for the show. That gets them on my email list. So what I'll do each week is I'll do a email to my whole list about what the show that's coming up, except for you. That I was late because we didn't communicate well enough. Oh, well, my fault. And then I have a separate email that goes out right before the show. Hey, we're starting in an hour. Come on. So I only send that to the people that have done the RSVP form. I don't do that to everybody. So that works out pretty well. I really, that's been a nice system for me to do. And it's really simple to do. It doesn't take much time. So well, let's talk a little bit about this topic here called Remodeling Blueprint. Your book. I'm talking to an author, man. This is really cool. And I've got your book right here.
Hey, we've each got a copy,
I must confess I haven't read it yet. So, but I got it sitting right here. It's on my list to read here as soon as possible. Tell me a little bit about your book, why you wrote it, what it's about, why people would want to get it.
Yeah, so we've been doing this digital marketing thing for over a decade now. It's crazy to think about that. Started in 2010, and it was just kind of like, I feel like we could put this whole thing together in a framework, and package it up in something. It was like probably written blogs about all this stuff, but why not put it into a book and formalize it and do all that? And so, last year I made the plunge and just said, hey, it's time to get this out there. There's not a lot of industry specific books, and there's definitely not a lot of industry specific books about marketing specifically. So I felt like it was a gap that we could fill. Easy to pick it up. It's on Amazon, but it basically walks through our framework. And so the framework is phase one is drive traffic to the website. So we talk about things like blogging and SEO and social media and paid search. And then once people are on the site, we talked about that top of the funnel lead conversion. So you want to convert people either at the top or the bottom. And then you want to nurture them. So Dan was just talking about email, and that's a great way to nurture those people that maybe haven't moved into the sales process. So I kind of break all that down, provide a lot of examples, and tried to make it a good balance of education, practical things with some tactical takeaways that you can actually, use.
Well, here's a heck of a deal. Buy one book, buy just one copy of your book, which is how much?
It's like 15 or 16 bucks.
Yeah. Okay. It's on Amazon. Do you sell it direct too?
Right now it's just on Amazon. Yeah. So
okay.
what you do, you come to this site and you can click the buy book. It'll send you right over to Amazon. And then if you just forward the receipt to hello@BuilderFunnel, then we'll hook you up with those bonuses depending on how many copies you buy.
So if you buy one copy, you get our buyer's persona template, SEO checklist, email templates, and list of 250 plus blog topics. You also get 1 month free of Builder Funnel Academy. Cool.
There you go.
Pretty good deal for 15 or 16, whatever it is, dollars.
Yeah.
Plus you get a good book out of the deal.
You get a good book. Yeah.
No, this is great. So this has been cool. I got this here a few weeks ago, and like I said, I just haven't read it yet. So terrible host. I should have read your book.
That's all good. It's all good.
But no, congratulations. How the sales going on your book so far?
Pretty good. I didn't know what to expect. I think we've sold a few hundred copies so far. And yeah, we'll just keep getting it out there and spreading the word. This will be the year of marketing the book a little more.
Good for you. No, it's a lot of work just to get it done, much less marketing. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a really easy read.
It is. And the other thing too, to it's a little meta, but we try to practice what we preach. And so this was another way of, we try to experiment on our own business before we recommend stuff. And so this was a way of saying, okay, this is another piece of educational content marketing. Instead of a blog, it's a book. Instead of a video, it's a book. And so I think a book for this industry, if you were to write a book for your business, is a great marketing tool. And it builds you up as a thought leader. I actually just did a podcast on our podcast with a remodeler, and he just wrote a book, and we were kind of talking about how he was using that to start elevating, his company and differentiating himself.
I've heard a lot of people that write books, and they've used it for marketing, specifically for marketing. Not, plus it's good topics, but yeah, I've got a cajillion reams of content that I need to put into.
You could probably write a few books, Dan.
Yeah, I have. So this is your website, and people can go here and find out some more information. I'm assuming you have good samples of other websites people can look at, and you got resources here. You do an academy. Tell me about the academy that you do.
Yeah, so the academy basically is a good option for people that aren't looking to hire us full service, but they want to learn from us and learn all the latest and greatest about marketing, the framework, the how-to, and we try to include a lot of shortcuts and templates and things that we've used. So we're actually doing an open enrollment here April 1st.
Okay.
So, if you want to head on over here, you'll see if you hit the join now, you can jump on the VIP list. And but this page right here will kind of give you some background. That's a throwback photo.
Getting ready to do some cold calling. Oh my.
Yeah.
One of the most favorite things in the world to do, huh? Cold calling.
Well, and I think this, the reason I put this in here is that's how we originally started, and we're trying to get clients, by doing that. But today, don't do any of that. It's all through what we talked about today. People find our website, our content, they come to us, they book meetings with us. So it's all inbound. And those I find are better quality conversations. People are actually looking for what you have to offer. So, if you're listening to this, that I think it should be your main goal is how do you just pull in more and more people that want what you offer, and they're actively looking for it, and they trust you, and they're ready to work with you.
Cool. So people can go here and get on your list too, because you're not doing it right now, but people can get on your list, and you'd send them a notice when it's available. So.
Yeah, exactly. And VIPs, they usually get early access and some bonuses and different perks, and you'll get it. So it's we're in early March, so if you hop on the list, you'll get some emails here in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, cool. So check it out. It's I've watched you do your things like this, and I know you do a heck of a job. So if you're into this topic, and I just pulled this up. I didn't even think about bringing this up earlier. But you've got something really cool here that people can check out if they're interested in getting into this. But you also do your own podcast. You were doing it quite often, weren't you?
Yeah, we started a few years ago, and last year we were experimenting. We had 3 shows going out every week. Right now we're back to 1 a week, and that's been good. But it's all about marketing, sales, personal development, growth. Bring in a lot of just variety of different experts and guests, and
cool.
We have a good time. Pretty casual conversation, just like we're having here.
Yeah, and you're on iTunes, so people can listen to this while they're on the road and doing different things. So you've done quite a few episodes, 130 now. So awesome.
Yeah,
good job.
It's been fun. Yeah, I like the podcasting medium. It's been a blast.
Yeah. I wanted to get on the video medium because I teach software. So, some of our shows we have to get on. I can't really explain. I can explain it, but I don't think people would get it quite as well.
Yeah. I love video.
That's cool. So, so you got a lot of resources here that people can check out that relate to marketing. And I know you've got tons of testimonials, people that have worked with you. So you guys check them out. You got a blog, you got good articles that you can read. Yeah, you've been a busy guy.
Spend a few days on the site poking around, but we try to give a lot out for free, and we know that some people will want more, and some people will take that and it'll help them, and that's awesome too.
All right, so we're about done here. I mean, we got a few more minutes. So what kind of what's your take? What would you like to leave people with as far as it goes? As far as marketing their business goes. We've talked about a bunch of different things. We've shown people a ton of resources that they can get. But what's your, what do you say?
I guess I'd leave people with thinking about your business from a marketing first standpoint. If you're really, it's a project-based business, right? So if you want to grow, you need leads. If you want to do more great work, if you want to help more people, design better projects, design improvements in their home, if you really want to serve your audience, then you need to market your business, and I think, obviously a lot of the tactical stuff we talked about today, I believe in, I've seen it at work. I think it's a long-term sustainable strategy of content marketing. I guess the thing I would leave you with, aside from think of yourself as a marketing company, and then you just happen to also do design or you do remodeling, and but you need to generate the awareness is consistency. I would say, most people, they set out with a year and they say, okay, I've got this budget and I'm going to try this thing and this thing and this thing for marketing. And then you maybe do it, you maybe don't, or you maybe do it for 3 months and then it falls off.
Yep.
I've found that good marketing takes some time, and you have to actually commit to it over the long haul and then measure it to see if you should keep doing it or not. But don't do it for 3 or 6 months and say, oh, it worked or it didn't work. Especially in this industry where people might think about something for 9, 12, 18 months or longer.
Yeah.
You can't imagine doing something for 3 months is going to magically work, so.
Well, yeah, and that's right. I like your comment about, think of your business as a marketing company that just happens to do remodeling and all that kind of stuff. Because it's really true. It's so easy to do a bunch of marketing and you get busy and then it's like, oh, well, I've done a good job. Now I can stop marketing. Yep. I used to do that all the time, and I'd always work myself out of work. So and you're not marketing yourself for the busy times. You're marketing yourself for the non-busy times, which they'll happen. They'll happen again.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's where I'd wrap it with is, stay consistent, with whatever you're doing, and then just embrace marketing. It's a good thing. And this style of marketing, you can feel really good about.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel like you're being annoying or you're intruding on people, because it's like, hey, I'm just adding tons of value out here into the world. And hey, if you want to do business, great.
So Mike says, Dan, you've provided much value to my business success. What you're doing works, and I thank you. And awesome. Thanks. That's when you can get comments like that, that's cool. I'll keep doing it. So let's see, we got a couple other comments. What's your website? We posted that. Builder Funnel.
Yep, builderfunnel.com.
Yep. And it builds your pipeline. Yep, the pipeline. Got to have your pipeline.
Got it.
So, all right, cool. Hey, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah,
anytime
this is
I can
great.
talk marketing for an hour, sign me up.
What's that?
I said anytime I can talk marketing for an hour, sign me up.
It's a fun topic, isn't it? I probably could have done well in a marketing agency. I really love marketing.
I think you would. Yeah.
Yeah. I just happened to take up a hammer and a saw and became a contractor, and exactly. Had to learn marketing to market my services. So next time I'll think about it. A marketer that has just, I'm a marketer that just happens to do chief architect stuff, which I do kind of take that tack now, because everything I do, I always, I don't live by the saying, but it's a saying that always comes to mind. Marketing is everything, and everything is marketing. And you can kind of say that either way, but it's really true. I mean, everything that you do in your business is marketing.
Yeah, every touch point with your customer in the sales process, even when you're doing the project. If you want to get referrals and testimonials, you got to do a good job. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we'll call it a day here, you guys. Thanks for being on the call today, or on the show today. Thank you, Spencer, for being on the show today.
Sure.
You guys can always go back and watch this on our website or on YouTube and Facebook. The live show will be posted there. And by all means, you can have at it. So again, check out Chief Experts Academy for all the things that we've got going on. I've got some cool things that we're working on. So pay attention. If you're in the kitchen and bath world, we've got some fun things coming up there. So I'm looking forward to that. So again, Spencer, thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. See you, everybody.